in the first time, like, nervous,
Right.
So it's better to do in person first, or you can do remotely first.
No, like depends on you. If you have something like you have priorities, you can do it remotely. Like for example, I have priorities as of now. There is a small baby I have, so I have to take care of everything as of now at home. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it remote. Okay, once everything will be settled down, I'll be back to my work location.
Oh, I see.
Some people have their priorities. Many of my friends, they have their parents like they're aged and all, so they need to take care sometime. So they always do remote work only.
Mm-hmm. Most of the companies are remotely now.
Yes. So we were on this project. Okay, let's go ahead. Now it is started the recording. Hmm. So in the last class, we have seen how we enable this continuous integration we have seen in the last class, right? Everyone?
Yes.
Hmm.
No.
No?
Only till
You know
three we
what?
have.
Not till the third.
Okay, third one only.
Yes, sir.
Wait. Okay, yes, third one only. Let's go with the fourth lab. Uh, so here what we'll do. Now we'll try to enable the continuous integration with the Azure pipelines. And what pipelines? These are YAML pipelines only. We'll go with the YAML pipeline only. Okay. In this lab, you will learn how to define build pipelines in Azure DevOps. Am I audible to
Malik?
you all, right?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay. In this lab, you will learn how to define build pipelines in Azure DevOps using YAML. This pipeline will be used in two scenarios as a part of pull request validation. So first thing, pull request validation we'll see as a part of pull request validation. Second part as a part of continuous integration implementation. So after you complete this job, you will be able to include build validation as part of pull request, configure CI pipeline as code with YAML. Now estimated timing 45 minutes. Let it be. Okay. Configure the lab prerequisites. We have eShop on web project. We already have that. Okay. If you go to the overview, we already in the eShop on web project. Okay. Uh, skip if done. So we already have project. We already onboarded the repository from the GitHub. Now include build validation as part of the pull request. Hmm. In this, import the YAML build definition. In this task, you will import YAML build definition that will be used as a branch policy to validate the pull request. So let's start by the pipeline. Go to the pipelines. So here you have to go to the pipelines. Pipelines, create a pipeline, new pipeline button. Select Azure Repos Git YAML. Select eShop on web repository. Select existing Azure Pipelines YAML file. Select ADO eShop on web. Now we already have this. We already have this pipeline. In the last lab, in the third lab, if you will go, we already created this YAML pipeline, implemented YAML based pipeline. Okay. Now in the fourth lab, we are using the same pipeline, but this is for we are seeing build validation. For build validation, same pipeline. So what I'll do, I'll not import this pipeline as we already have. But what I do one thing, As of now, in the last pipeline, if I click on this pipeline, I'll edit this pipeline. What we used a agent pool over here, self-hosted agent pool. Instead of this agent pool, what I do, I'll edit it. I'll use now, because I deleted that agent pool from my system. Okay, so we'll be using Azure agent only as of now. So I'll be just replacing that agent. From line number 13. So here I'll be replacing these things now. Pasting this. Yeah. So now I'm using Azure pipeline only. That's why I edited this pool. I'll save it. I'll update directly to the main branch. Okay, there's a
Integrate a branch.
wait. Leave branches, branch policies. Let me stop as of now. I did the pipeline first, so now the pipeline is saved. Let's go back to the fourth one. So what they are doing, they are just pulling that pipeline again, and we edited the last one only because it was the same pipeline. So if you want, you can delete that pipeline and you can pull it again, a new pipeline. Okay. So the new pipeline will have automatically the latest image. So here, if you will go to the GitHub, if you go to the that ci.pr pipeline, here they have already given that Ubuntu latest. Okay. So it is already there. Click save. Your pipeline will take name based. Okay. Saved it. Now go to branch policies again. In the branch policies, on the Mine tab, branches pane, forward mouse pointer to over the main branch entry to reveal the ellipsis symbol on the right side. Click the ellipsis, and in the pop-up menu, select branches. On the main tab of the repository settings, enable the option of required minimum number of reviewers. Add one reviewer and check the box. Allow requesters to approve their own changes. On the main tab of the repository settings, in the build validation section, click add, and in the build pipeline, select eShop on web PR, working with the pull request. Now let's finish the settings first over here. Let's go to the repos section. Let's go to the branches. In the branches section, click over here, branch policies, again enable this one. Now go with one. Allow requesters to approve their own change, because in this case, you will be the requester. You will approve it, you will run it, everything will be done by you since it is an individual account. So you have to enable with one minimum reviewers. Now, what else they are saying? On the main tab of the repository settings, in the build validation, click add and add a build policy in the build pipeline list. Select eShop on web PR, then click save. Now we'll add a build validation also here. So I'm having a build validation. Build pipeline, which one? eShop on web. path. Okay, automatic. Everything is automatic here. Save it. So now we have this one. Working with pull request. In this task, you will use the Azure DevOps portal to create a pull request using a new branch to merge a change into the protected main branch. Navigate to the repos section in the eShop on web navigation and click branches. Create the new branch, feature branch. Click feature 01 and navigate eShop onward to the program CS file. Now we are checking the PR, pull request validation. Okay. So here, if you go to the eShop on web, working with the pull request, navigate to the repos section in the eShop on web navigation and click branches. Create a new branch named feature 01. So we'll create a new branch for checking the PR. So here, let's go to repos. This is our code. Create a new branch here, feature 01. Create it. Now this is feature 01. What you have to do, click feature 01 and navigate to program CS file as a part of feature 1 branch. Click edit button. In the top right, make the following changes. Testing my PR. Copy this. Now here, go to your source, go to web, go to program.cs file. Edit this, remove this one. Testing my PR. Commit it. Commit on the feature branch. Click on commit. Commit, leave the default commit message. A message will pop up proposing a create a pull request as a feature 1 branch and now ahead in the changes compared to the main. Click a create a pull request. In the new pull request tab, leave defaults and click on create. The pull request will show some pending requirements based on the policies applied to the main branch. At least one user should review and approve the changes. Build validation, you will see that the build eShop on web PR was triggered automatically. Now, as we change this one and you create a pull request, now first the build will be tested with the feature branch and then someone will be able to merge it to the main. So if I create a pull request here, so in the pull request, you will see that there is a build queued up. Okay, build is queued up. Now you will go and check. Now this build, it will check the build. So checking the build in the feature branch only, whether build is successful or not. If the build will be not successful, you will not be able to merge the request or your manager will reject your pull request to merge it to the main branch. So that is build validation feature. Build validation through PR, pull request. So let this build validation run and then we will be able to merge it. If you go to the pull request again, after completion of this build validation, we'll have a check over here. See, check is completed. Now one more check, at least one reviewer should approve. So let's add some reviewer over here. And after adding the reviewer, I click on approve. Now all the checks are completed. Now you can complete the pull request. If build validation was not successful, you will not be able to complete the pull request. Okay. Merging is completed. Pull request is completed now. Configure CI pipeline as code with YAML. In this exercise, you will configure CI pipeline as code with YAML. Now in the CI pipeline, what we'll see? Let's start. Go to the pipelines, new pipeline, select Azure Repos Git, eShop on Web YAML and eShop on Web -CI. Now in the continuous integration pipeline, we will be enabling the continuous trigger. Okay, that's why this is continuous integration pipeline. So here, if you go to the pipelines, you can create a new pipeline over here. Follow that process, Azure Repos Git, eShop on Web project, existing pipeline from the main branch. So there is a pipeline eShop on Web CI.yaml. That's what we need to get. eShop on Web CI.yaml. Okay. Let's select it. Now in this pipeline, you can see that there is a trigger, continuous trigger. Okay. So as of now, that is commented. We have to add the trigger. Okay. As of now, that is commented. Now enable continuous integration. The default build pipeline definition doesn't enable continuous integration. Click on edit button at the top right. Now you need to replace the trigger and -main lines with the following code. So what you can do, you can copy this one and you can edit this. See, now in the trigger, we have added that from which branch you have to trigger. Like if you make changes in the main branch, then it will trigger the pipeline. Whatever branch you will give, if the changes are done on that particular branch, it will trigger the pipeline. That is continuous integration. Okay. Path include the project, whatever the project is. Now earlier in the classic editor pipeline, we had options over there. Like at the top, we had options, variables, triggers. From there, we are doing it. Here for continuous integration, we have to do it the pipeline, directly to the pipeline. Okay. So we are adding that snippet of that for enabling the continuous trigger also. This will automatically trigger the build pipeline if any changes is made to the main branch and the web application code. Since you enabled branch policies, you need to pass by pull request in order to update the code. Click save button. Do not save and run. To save the pipeline, select create a new branch for this commit. Keep the default branch, start a pull request. Click on save. Now, as we enabled that we cannot merge it to the main branch directly, we cannot save it. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to save it with the new branch, a feature branch or something. Okay. So create a new branch, give any name. What is the default? Azure Pipelines. And then you can create a pull request. So it will automatically start a pull request. Just we are doing this just to merge this pipeline because we cannot directly merge it to the main branch. Okay. Save it. Now you have to go to the pull request. So in the pull request, you can see this. Now one check is running over here. So once this check is completed, build validation one. Okay. Now, as we said that build validation with PR, we enabled that. So every time whenever you will be merging, every time it will check first it will check the build. It will run the build every time just to check whether the code is intact or not. Your build is successful or not. So again, this pipeline will run eShop on web CI/PR pipeline. And once done, we'll merge it. Okay. So in your organization, whenever you will be start working, you will not be able to merge like that. You will always get this kind of branch policy that whenever you want to merge, you have to go through a build. So make sure that whenever you are start merging or you are creating a pull request or a pull request has been created for merging it to the main branch, you must test your build first at your end in the dev branch, wherever you want, or in your own feature branch, and then merge it or create a pull request. Otherwise, your pull request will be rejected. It is a kind of added security before merging any code to the main branch. This is done now. Let's go back to the pull request. This check is completed. Now, just give that reviewer. Click on approve. Click on complete. Now there are no pull requests. We have merged the code. Click save. Okay. Your pipeline will take a name based on the project name. Let's rename it identifying the pipeline better. Go to pipelines and click on recently added pipeline. Name it eShop on web CI. Okay. Let's see whatever name it has taken. In the pipelines, click on all pipelines. So this pipeline is created now or added. Rename it to CI pipeline. Go to repos pull request, click on update eShop on web CI for YAML Azure pipelines pull request. After all validations are successful, approve it and complete it. Test the CI pipeline. Now it is time to test that particular CI pipeline which you created. Now again, what you have to do, you have to create a feature branch. Okay. So go to repos. As of now, there is only main branch. Test the CI pipeline. Click create a feature 2 branch. Click over here, create a new branch, feature 2. Based on main branch, we'll create a feature 2 branch. Now we'll edit a code, program CS file again, testing my PR. Okay. So go to source, go to web, program.cs. Now what you have to do here, remove the line. So what we'll do, whatever we have done earlier, we'll remove this line. We'll remove this line. And we'll commit. So I'll write message removed, testing my PR message, commit. Committed. So now this message is committed. Click on commit. A message will pop up for the pull request. Create pull request. Create a new pull request. Leave defaults and click create. The pull request will show some pending requirements based on the policies applied to the target main branch. After all validations are successful, on the top right, click approve. Now from the set autocomplete drop down, you can click on complete. Now we'll see. After this, we have made the changes. So we'll create a pull request now. As of now, let the pull request will be, let's create it like that. Don't add reviewers and all. Now it will again run that particular build. So each and every time, whenever you are pushing it to the main branch before or merging it to the main branch, before that, there will be a build validation pipeline, which will check your build in the feature branch only. So again, that pipeline is running now. Testing your code as a process of build validation on PR request, pull request. Okay. So anyone ask you a question like, what is build validation on PR? You can give that answer that every time you have to merge some code or you edit some code and you have to merge it to the main branch, you cannot directly merge it. First, you have to test your build. So whenever you create a pull request, a build validation will happen, which will test your code or which will build your code. A pipeline will run, and then only if the build is successful, then only you will be able to merge it to the main branch or approve the pull request. That is build validation. Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Actually,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
there was a power cut. Yes. Okay, now if you go to the pull request, see one check is successful. Now for the next check, one approver must approve. You can click on this and you can complete the request. This request is completed. Go back to the pipelines. You will notice that eShop on web CI was triggered automatically after the code. So after the pull request, if you go to the pull request is completed, now you can see that eShop on VC, that continuous integration pipeline is automatically started. Now this is the CI pipeline, continuous integration. So as soon as the code is merged, as soon as the pull request is approved, the CI pipeline will start running. That is automatic trigger, you can say. This is the exact workflow which you all will be following while working on DevOps pipelines. Okay. After its successful execution, click on related publish to check the publish artifact. You will find two artifacts. One is bicep and one is website. Now, once this is completed, we'll check the artifact. Now you can see that there are two artifacts. One is a bicep, one is a website. Now this is your code, whatever you have built in the zip format. And this bicep will have the infrastructure where you will deploy this one. So whenever you now you will be creating a release pipeline, these artifacts will be consumed over there. You will download these artifacts, and then there with this bicep file, you will create infrastructure. And after that, you will consume this one. This you will deploy that particular website into the web app, okay, which is created by the bicep file. In this lab, you enabled pull request validation using a build definition and configured CI pipeline as code with YAML in the DevOps. Now, in the next lab, you will be seeing GitHub Actions. Okay, you will be implementing the GitHub Actions. This will take another 40 to 45 minutes. Since I have to go to office at 9:30, so I'll be stopping here. Next class, I may take it longer since I'll be back to home. So I will take it longer till 10, 8 to 10. Okay. I have to
Okay,
stop.
sir.
Yeah.
Next class is on Fridays.
No. Friday. Yeah, because Wednesday I'll be traveling. Okay. Back to home.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.